Hey, beautiful souls. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the ascension process or the expansion process that we're in the middle of. Now, we are active participants in this process. On some level, it is happening within us because it was planned or because that's our destiny. But we are and can be active participants in this. So what is the expansion process? It is to increase the frequency that we live in day by day. Now, we are on, as I have said, some form of an autopilot. And this is part of the reason why we've been stuck, just part of the reason. So why do I go into the inner child? Why do I talk about the inner child as an aspect of this ascension process? Well, what we are doing is raising our frequency, and the heavy emotions of doubt and fear, anger, etc., are something that we've experienced over and over for a long time without moving through. So in the here and now, how do you increase your frequency? You choose those higher frequencies as a participant in this expansion process. So we choose love, we choose joy, we choose freedom, all of the higher frequencies, compassion, care, allowance. Now, what happens is how we've been programmed or conditioned to respond in our childhood is often around those heavy emotions, because we were raised by people who did not understand emotional intelligence, who did not understand their emotions for the most part, and wittingly or unwittingly have overlaid their concepts and perceptions regarding emotions, regarding those denser energies onto us. So the reason I talk about identifying the program, identifying the autopilot, identifying how your inner child actually feels, is those emotions are the source of your doubt, your disbelief, and your hesitation and your procrastination when going and reaching for those higher frequencies. So I am going to take you through a little process, and what I will do is make sure just the process is available on my resources page on my website, and you'll find the link below for that. And it's there for anybody to access. There's also a pain release audio on that page for anyone to access, as well as the process that I call a little love and tenderness, which helps you get in touch with what's actually going on. So let me give you a little bit of background before I take you through that process. When we are reaching for a higher frequency, we are in a way breaking out of the autopilot, breaking out of a habitual way of existing energetically. Now, we can have breakthroughs, and an example that I will give is a woman that I worked with who had an amazing change with somebody that she was connected to. And this person had been giving her a lot of grief. And when she started using the process, the little love and tenderness, she started to understand where these emotions and perspectives came from. And as she shifted and changed her frequency within herself, this person began to reflect that back to her without her saying anything. And there were two amazing indicators that this person had changed, and it was undeniable. Now, what happened was that woman then sort of in a way crashed back to the earth and had, in a way, worse experiences in another way. Now, what happens is when we try to break out, that what I call the inner child in this disassociated part of yourself can step in and be the saboteur. And the thoughts that you get in that come into your mind that says this is too good to be true, it's failed before, it's going to fail again. That aspect can pull you back into the rut of perception. Now, another example I give is of back when I was in my school, we used to do a process where we had all of the colors of the rainbow in different pieces of paper. So we'd have a red paper and a blue paper, etc., etc. And we would hold the paper on our forehead and feel in and name the color. Now, people had various levels of success in this. And my friend did it perfectly once. Every time we put the card on his forehead, he knew the color instantly. And when we finished, it just frightened him. The implications of what this meant to his reality and to who he was and who he thought he could be and his limitations and boundaries was suddenly challenged. And he moved out of a comfortable rut of perception, into this. He sort of stuck his head above the rut, above the parapet, and saw the new vista, the new horizon, in a manner of speaking. And this part of him freaked out and never did it again, never attempted that exercise again. It just rattled that cage too much for him. And he abandoned that exercise. So what happens is we start reaching for another frequency. And this other energy that actually is entwined in that very subtly and very quietly starts to infiltrate and bring up the doubt and pull that energy back into the known. So this is why it's important to get in touch with what's going on inside of you. Most people live inside their heads, and how we've dealt with problems or solving things, solving situations or making choices for a long time has been through a rational pro and con process in a way. Now, that's not right or wrong, and it's not that you throw that action out or that process out, but it is connected to the brain. It's connected to the way we've been living in the Piscean age, which is the very masculine aspect of conquering this realm that we're living in. And what we are moving into is a place of more being in the flow and trusting that the deeper aspect of who we are, that divine aspect, knows exactly what we need for the next experience, for the next moment of expansion. So when we drop into the body and begin to feel and let go of that analysis, that rational survival aspect of the brain, of that Piscean masculine side, and we drop into feeling, we begin to understand the content of the energy we are actually living in. It isn't always easy to identify the energy that you're living in while you're in your head. And when I'm asking you in this process to reach for a new feeling, as you become more and more adept at feeling all of these things, you will begin to perceive the subtle infiltration of these old energies. And as I said, it's very not immediately obvious in some respects, particularly if you haven't done any great inner work, great getting to know how you feel throughout your day when this happens or that happens, and the energy that you inhabit through your movement through this realm. Oretike si se shusha kumbokotete, didede kinge batia sekike, sembiti cheku uku che senye sukuya. Ambaria sekika, hortie sesi anye kukaya. So when we are reaching for these higher frequencies, it isn't just to expand. Along the way, it can also involve creating what we want, utilizing the brain, utilizing a desire and a want. So again, it's not that we just passively lay down and not strive or do anything, but it's to know what we want and to reach for it and to be an active participant in the creation of that through understanding the energy that we are emitting. So if, say, we were manifesting or wanting to create a better job or starting your own business or more income, for example, these are all valid desires because, in fact, we are here to make known the unknown. We're here to have any experience that we want because we are creator beings. We are that aspect of the divine on this journey of experiencing what is available in this realm and any other realm. Amboresike, shujezike, nyata, kambandia, sekeke. Zide dutkandia sakatia nanikike. And breathe. Ushesika sesa. U ebebetine sandiaki sekika. Umbriatse kukeyanaka. So the journey to that expansive place, to what we call ascension, which is the journey out of this place that we've been on that hamster wheel and living and expanding in a way we can't even imagine because we've lived in this compressed, heavy, dense place for so long. So as we begin to reach, and how we reach in a way is for what it is we want. But the truth is, what we want really is the feeling that that thing will give us. So we have to, in a way, yes, write down what it is we want, but then take that out of the equation. Take those things in a way out and just reach for the feeling that that thing or that experience will bring to us. Now, when we reach for it, we begin to tap into it. We begin to access that frequency, that those things and the emotions that are around having them and the feelings around having them that we will experience in our body, we begin to connect and we begin to, it's almost like entrainment in a way. So these things or this frequency is at this level. And what we are doing is we exist here. So as we push and perceive and become these frequencies, the process is that our energy will rise to meet it. So we begin to transmute the energy that we are living in. And when we shift what we are emitting, the world will begin to reflect that. So let's have a go at this process. Now, I will make sure when it's on my website that this video is there to explain why the process works and how it works. but I'm going to explain it to you in between us doing it here. But the process will be just as it is on the website without the explanations in between. So what I want you to do is to get comfortable where you are sitting. Really relax in and scan your body and relax it as you scan it. So start with your toes, feel the bones of the toes, the skin, the nails, the joints, feel your feet, the balls of your feet, the arch of your foot, the top of your foot, the bones and the tendons that are in the feet. And just really feel. I will be using the word feel a lot through this process because I'm wanting you to drop out of the head and drop out of the analysis or the thinking. Now, what we often do, because this is how the brain is set up, is we compare what we know with what we are hearing, say, from me. And this is part of the process, in a way, set in place to keep us safe. It's a deeply formed process. And so it's saying, from my experience, essentially, is this going to keep me safe? What Joe is telling me. That's it at a bottom line. Is this going to keep me in a place of familiarity? Is this going to be what I am used to? Because the familiar, in a way, is safe because we know the boundaries of the familiar. So when I'm asking you to do this, I'm asking you to drop out of your head, drop out of the analysis, drop out of the comparison, and just be in the feeling. So continue to scan your body all the way up through your ankles, your legs, your knees, your upper legs, and feel the bones and the tendons and the skin, the joints. And continue to scan up through your torso, your neck, your backbone, your shoulders, your shoulder blades, your arms, hands, wrists, elbows, your chest, your ribs, and perceive the energy in all of these areas and feel them. Feel how it feels in your insides, in your organs, within your system, within your heart and your lungs, your stomach, liver, pancreas, whatever. Just scan and feel and be and really drop in. Scan your head and your scalp, your eyes, your eyeballs, the eyelids, the cheekbones, the jaw, your tongue, and your teeth. Now, allow what you are sitting on to take your full weight. So again, it's whether we know it or not, we are slightly tense all the time in order to be on the alert for what might come and attack us or get us. And again, this is a very deep primal program in a way. And the world has sort of supported this stance because of what we see in the paper or watch on television, or the movies we watch, or the books we read, keep us in this very subtle state of fight or flight all the time. So what I want you to do is to drop in and feel everything that's going on. Now, as you begin to feel the emotions, feel the body, you will begin to feel emotions or sensations. And often they're connected to what's happening in your life. So if you're in a place of struggle, or if you're in a place of a relationship breakup, or you're in a place of fear for the future, or fear for this environment, or frustration about when things are going to change, for example, when you begin to feel in your body, these emotions will come up. Now, these emotions that you are being triggered to feel about this world, in a way, have their roots in your inner child. This is where they are set up in this lifetime and sort of embedded into this physical body this time around. And as I've said, the other name for your inner child is your unfinished business from other realities, other nows, things that you haven't understood or owned. So you chose this sort of a life, this way this life is unfolding, to have another opportunity to finally put those things to bed and to go and start having a new experience with new emotions. Now, when you process the heavy emotions, it's not that you become, as some people think, an automaton, that you lose connection to your humanity. It's that you begin feeling emotions and feelings that you've never felt before, and that possibly many humans have never felt in any great degree. So if that's the expansion process. We know fear inside and out. We know anger or greed or judgment inside and out because we've lived it over and over. So when you begin to understand those emotions that we live in and move out of them, you actually expand into greater realms of feeling and being and existing that don't belong or connect very much to what's going on here in this place. So the beauty or the reason you do the inner child work is it's a way to identify what's in your system that needs to be healed. Now, if these emotions come up, when you begin to feel within, don't be surprised and begin to make friends with them in a way. And that's ultimately the reason for doing that process, a little love and tenderness, because it helps you turn and face and welcome and embrace what these emotions are and how they're influencing your energy signature or are a component of your energy signature. So when you are reaching for a new frequency, reaching for joy, or wanting to create abundance, or wanting to create that fantastic job, or even a great partner, we have an idea about whether we can have those things or not. And those understandings or belief systems were anchored in here. So let go of those things. Take them in a way, as I said, out of the equation and just reach for the feeling that all of these things will bring up or allow you to access and live within as you move into them more and more. So here you are feeling your body. Now I want you to, I'm going to say some words. And some words of that are a way to define what you want to feel. So with a lot of these things that we want, they will bring us freedom. So how does it feel to be free? Just trust that first and jump into the pool that is freedom. How does it feel to be in the flow? You are in the flow. You are in joy. You are expanded. You are limitless. You are confident. You are happy. You are on a mission or in the flow or actively moving forward in the way that you want. These words are expansive words, and we often have that association with them. So if you want, when you go to do this process for yourself, write down all the feelings that you know you will feel when you are in this place that you want to be. Now, this is very similar in a way to the 10 steps to Ascension video that I did a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And it's saying that you are reaching for a place that you want to be. So in that video, we talked about ascension, but it can also be that you are 100% healed, or that you are have a successful business, that you are independently wealthy and financially free and clear. Now, sometimes when you go to reach for that, it's something that is very much an unknown. And this inner child is part of the reason why it's difficult to imagine that. So the 10 steps is, okay, let's take one step forward closer to the outcome we want. How does that first step feel? Then we take and move to the next step. How does that, even one close step closer, how does that feel in this as you're moving towards your outcome? So if you're having trouble feeling abundance, feeling joy, feeling power, feeling confident, feeling that you know, feeling that you're in the flow, all of the feelings that you want and know will exist with when you have this thing or are this way, if it's difficult to find them, then go and do the 10 steps process and do one step, one step, one step. And sit for as long as it takes on each stepping stone until you feel it. And what happens is your body will begin to, how it happens for me, when I release or when I access a higher frequency, the lower frequency begins to transmute and release. And for me, I take a really deep breath. It will be different. It could be different for you. But what happens is I take the deepest, deepest breath. It's an involuntary breath for me. And the energy and the heat rises within me, and I emanate and get very hot when I release. So as you sit in these places, you will feel a physical change in your body more often than not. And if you don't, that's okay too. Again, this is my experience. I'm trying to give you my understanding of how this works. And as we are all unique, it will be unique for each of you. But it's my desire to try and convey what I've understood in this process. And if it helps you, fantastic. So when you are saying these words and feeling the truth of what these words mean within your system, you begin to release. You begin to go through, I suppose, a process of entrainment. So when you reach that 10th place, that 10th stepping stone, or when you feel the freedom of what it is to have complete financial abundance and independence, it's a different energy from where you are now. And so there will be that entrainment, that release. Now, as you become adept at feeling what's going on in your body, the reason that I ask you to go within and to feel how all of this stuff feels, how abundance feels, how power feels, how rightness feels, how confidence feels, how all of these things that we wish to be feel, you will get in touch with what actually currently exists in your system. So as you're sitting in abundance or freedom or being in the flow, you will become adept at identifying, almost like the thread of the old energy, as a part of the energy that you are reaching for. And in my mind, I see all of this energy moving and being and connecting and being that higher frequency. But what will happen is the inner child, or the doubt or disbelief, the hesitation and procrastination will come up, and you might hear very loudly or very faintly, "This won't work," or "It's not going to stay around long." It may be a phrase, "It's never worked before, why should it now?" There may be a phrase. So as you're sitting in that higher frequency, this aspect will want to pull you, or can pull you, back towards the familiar. And as you are in that and feeling and scanning and feeling and not thinking, but being in that, these thoughts might arise. Now, they may not be thoughts. They may be, again, it's a subtle thing. It might be a dip in your energy. It might be a little bit of a doubt and a hesitation. And what I want you to do is to observe that, however you see it or feel it. Become the observer, which is to step out slightly and look back at it. Now, when I'm asking you to be the observer, I'm asking you to come up and, in a way, look at the big picture. Look at it from this higher perspective. You're not lost in it, as we are often down here. You are, in a way, God looking at this part of itself that needs to be understood and ultimately transmuted through the observation and through the feeling. Now, you can shift backwards and forwards between the new frequency and the old subtle frequency when you get adept at this. And what happens is you observe it. And for me, there is the deepest breath in that moment of release, because it is true. What you resist persists, and what you feel will heal. And a lot of these emotions from here, because they're only accessed via what you're feeling in your body, they are incredibly subtle at times, and yet very powerful in a part of what you are emitting. So here you are looking at feeling manifestations, feeling abundance, feeling your new home, feeling the land that you wish to build upon, things like that. Whatever it is, maybe it's to become, successful in a business, whatever it is. When you are reaching for that frequency, these things can come in, and they're infiltrating and tainting, in a way, that creation. Now, again, no right or wrong. This is all about frequency. This is all about energy. So we are, as you know, energetic beings. If you understand Kirlian photography, that around leaves and plants, you can see an energy aura. We do too. And the energy we are emitting is having an impact on the field, the matrix. So we are programming it whether we understand it or not, with our energies, with our emotions. And as if the majority of them are coming from here, then this energy is what is creating and influencing the world that you are, that is unfolding in front of you. Ijekike sute bika ombukuteria sekeniaka haratike suku ende sikea. Ujetike sheshashiana kike. So, love, companionship, support, concern, care, a partner, joyful movement forward, excitement, happiness, confidence, knowingness, power in the flow, expansion, moving forward. I know I am all in all, have it all, anything and everything. Yes, yes, forever, infinite, infinity. So feel those words as you are breathing in and out. Embody the energy of those words, whatever they mean to you, and become the observer of any disagreement or any holdback of those words as a truth in your reality. Uje kia, shotea koe, kia tariane kia, setu chane kike, suyet kriana kia, ambariate su te kayan, inge kobote se sesi, shundea kia, zete sunyeka. And breathe. Bliss, peace, joy, knowledge, power, adaptability, far-seeing, clairvoyant, aware, allow, infinite, expansive, ascended, ijushesike, ushesika, motea, 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 hingekiet sebitena, angrietse sushena, ambriatse kike. So this is what it is to be an active participant in this process that we are in. Again, everything that you are seeing in the world around you is a reflection of the energy that you are emitting. And each of us is seeing it in greater or lesser degrees than others, according to our energy signature. Pull out and look at this world from the big picture. Become and step into the role of being the programmer of this reality. Ijikia tsekika umbeate. Step into your power. Step into your sovereignty. Kuretsike imbitia koka ochenze kika. And any doubt you have, any disbelief, hesitation, procrastination is the past not wanting you to change. It's not malevolent. It's just part of the way things are and have been. And we have to understand that we can be amazing and fantastic and powerful and beautiful and wonderful and creative and transform this realm as we move through it, transmuting ourselves. Ijekike shundaya kabuku utesi se handria chekika umbakareti niakoye sabatike amburetsike sushendia ambriakike undia tsukuyo umbuko esienakike. So many, many blessings, beautiful souls. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.